Nangamanlari.
And welcome to Ask Aunty. Aunty Munya, is it okay for non-Indigenous people like myself to do dot painting?
Yeah, well, this has come up many times, Carla. There's some Indigenous people that have a view that affirm no, and there are others who say it's okay. So it's difficult to know precisely because we're all influenced by artists all over the world, you know. Should Picasso have stolen from the Africans, you know? His art is based on them. Where do you draw the line? It's always difficult to know exactly where. But one of the things that I learned from an Aboriginal artist years ago, and she was always pushing the idea that people should Aboriginal people should stick within their own cultural traditions. So, for instance, she would say, dot paintings isn't a part of New South Wales, and we, being she was a Bundjalung woman, we should look for our own traditions and start recreating those. So, so the opinions will vary. You know, if you're talking about being influenced by Aboriginal art, then I think at somewhere you should acknowledge that you're influenced by Aboriginal art. But of course, you've also got to be sensitive to the use of particular icons and the iconography of art that, you know, for instance, you know, your half dots and that represent the shelters and things like that. So just be aware of what you're using them and in what context.
Yeah, and I guess, Aunty Munya, for me as a non-Indigenous person, I would only ever do that I'm actually not an artist, but I would only ever attempt anything like that if I was sitting with an Indigenous person under their instruction. That's just for me personally.
Yeah, same. Like dot painting is not part of my culture, Bardi culture. Ours is very geometric type art. So that was Bronwyn Bancroft, by the way, the Aboriginal artist, who very firm believer that you follow your own traditions. So my tradition is not dot painting, so I wouldn't necessarily use it. So it's a tough one. You know, on the one hand, with kids, when you're teaching, I know a lot of primary school teachers, for instance, teach Aboriginal kids to do dot drawings. It's making them, I think, sensitive to the idea that that's part of Aboriginal culture. But as you mature and grow older, I perhaps wouldn't be using dot paintings, so forth.
Thanks, Aunty Munya, and thank you, listener. Ask Aunty.